Alrighty. Podcast mode. Shout out to Greg over at the Sneakdiss. You know, gonna have to steal his warm up for a second. But still, podcast mode. Alright, we good. What's going on though? As you can see, different setting. Actually in my sneaker room. Fortunately, I ain't like the old head, aka Eddie. I ain't got a collection like that, unfortunately. But I mean, when you've been collecting as long as that man has, yeah, you're definitely gonna be behind. So do want to say this. Apologize for not having video for the past few weeks. Been busy, been barely having enough time to even record audio, slash, been having technical difficulties. So I do want to apologize for that again. But yeah, gave Eddie the week off. He had some family in town he hadn't seen in a while, so I told him, what, take the week off, go hang out with the family. That's way more important than this. So it'll be back next week. But I did get his blessing. The show must go on. So this is gonna be the first episode of The Youngin. Oh man. Let me start off by saying this. So I want to say I've been doing this for roughly 3 going on 4 years here shortly. um I always say it never gets any easier to get in front of this camera. Like, even me myself, like, I tried to do a solo episode one time just to even see if I could even get through it. And yeah, needless to say, you guys will never hear that episode ever. So yeah, I'm gonna save y'all the trouble and your ears. But great things take time, and practice makes perfect. So I'm gonna give it another shot. Now if y'all don't want to sit here and listen to my beautiful voice, you don't gotta listen to it. I'm not gonna force you. Um, yeah, we'll just leave it there. Oh man, but yeah, here we are. Here we are. So I do want to start this off with some unfortunate news I just found out about. Recently, Wyndham Rotunda, I hope I said that last name right, aka Bray Wyatt in WWE, sadly has passed away. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I talking about this? I'm still a very big professional wrestling fan. Yes, I know it's fake. I know. I know. Uh, yeah, I I do know it's fake. I do understand that. But, I grew up watching it. It's something I'll probably always continue to watch. So, it's just, it is what it is. Yeah, but, sad to hear. Because I was actually a very big fan of his, especially, his mic skills were arguably some of the greatest mic skills we had seen in this modern era of professional wrestling. And, it's just sad to see talent like that sadly pass. So, RIP to him, and, wish the family well. And yeah, for those that may not have gotten a chance to, see his work or, just understand who he was, definitely some great work, man. And, it's just going to be sad knowing that, he's sadly left this earth. Yeah, it's tragic, man. Tragic, but RIP to him. So to move forward, because I have no way how to segue. I can't really segue out of that any better. Let me start off with this. I've been getting asked all week about Trey Lance, so I figured I'd start off by addressing it. To keep it blunt, I honestly don't like how things are going with him. More so, I don't like the fact that the organization has just kind of given up on him in a sense. Now, let me expound on that a little bit. I do get it. It's a business at the end of the day, and preseason is meant to determine who is getting that second string quarterback role because Brock Purdy already got that starting job locked up. Like, it's not even a question. Now, Sam Darnold, they had said that he came in and pretty much separated himself from Trey Lance, so that's really what won him the job. Um, Now, here's my thing. They're talking about trading Trey Lance. I am actually on the side of I don't think we should do that. Now, you're probably wondering why I say that. Let me explain. Oh, sorry, I gotta get stretching. So I don't think we should trade him because just our QB situation last year, where Trey gets hurt, Jimmy has to step in, Jimmy gets hurt, Brock Purdy has to step in. We play the Eagles. Brock Purdy gets hurt. Jimmy Garoppolo can't play. Trey Lance is out for the season. I, I believe it was Josh Johnson, the fourth string quarterback, had to come in. He gets hurt. Christian McCaffrey has to start playing quarterback. We realize we can't do that because we need him. Like, you see where I'm getting at? Like, I don't want another situation like that to happen again where we're basically out of quarterbacks. So I think we should just go on ahead and keep Trey Lance just for that reason. Now, we're probably not going to. I'm just going to keep it a buck there. But I think it would be a good idea if we did. That's all I'm saying. Now, if we do trade him, we're probably not going to get much. I think they said the most we would get is like a third round pick because I've been reading articles that Minnesota was a top contender to trade for him, which I actually just found out Trey Lance is from Minnesota. Didn't even know that. I believe he is from what I was reading. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I will say if he gets traded, I do wish him nothing but the best because maybe it was just a situation he's just not going to be able to flourish with the 49ers. Sometimes that's just how it works with some of these players. They're not good on their team they get drafted to. They go somewhere else, and that's when you start to see them shine. Sometimes that's just how it works. It will kind of be a bittersweet feeling to see that happen, but at the end of the day, I would not be fully upset because I like the guy. Don't get it twisted. I've never disliked him. Especially, I've told people I can't judge how good he is off of 3 professional starts. I believe it was before he got hurt. I can't really judge you off that. Like, yes, I know you get a lot of flack. Trey Lance gets a lot of flack because he had one good year in college, and then a lot of people were saying that he wasn't going to transition well to the NFL. I mean, bro, to be fair, not everybody is your elite guys like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Uh, I mean, the two that I'd say really had slight learning curves, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, because I mean, they didn't come out their first year and were instantly like stars. Like they actually had to learn a little bit. They had to kind of go through the motions a little bit. So, I mean, it takes time, bro. Like that's kind of what I kind of realized with Trey Lance. It might just take some time. So we'll see where it goes with that. I mean, other than that, still looking forward to the season. Just kind of sucks that that whole situation going on, but you know, it is what it is. So figured I'd do a little something different. Since I'm solo Mac today, figured I'd do some pickups. So wanted to start off with probably my three favorites. If you know me well enough, this is my all-time favorite sneaker silhouette. The Nike SB Janowski. Uh, these are the most recent ones I just picked up. Here, I'll take them out the box as well. I believe they're called the Lilac colorway. Lilac medium pink. I mean, nothing too special. Like I said, they're not everybody's cup of tea. What really got me on this shoe was my favorite skateboarder. I'm putting this in the box wrong. God dang it. So my favorite current skateboarder, Shane O'Neill. That was probably the only shoe he really wore before he got his own signature model. And on top of that, a good friend of mine was actually Flow for Nike when we were in high school, and he was like the first person I had seen wear them when they first came out. So that's what really made me fall in love with them, just seeing them, and also just seeing that at that time that was arguably the best skate shoe that Nike had ever made. People want to say it's Dunks, but let's keep it a buck. SB Dunks died in like 2010s. In the 2010s era, they were dead. Let's just keep it a buck. But, really, it was just wearing that shoe. And on top of that, when the florals dropped, like, I had to have them. Like, I'd probably spent 4 years just trying to hunt them all down. And there's probably still like 2 to 3 that I'm still currently looking for, but the original 4 I do have, so happy about that. But moving on, the second most recent one I got were the Gorge Greens, which I've actually worn already. So, and it's kind of funny too because there's one more that I bought, but yeah, and I really like this colorway too. Nice, simple green. Very just simple shoe, and like I said, they're not for everybody. But what else is cool too? Like, so these are the original insoles that actually come in them. And they actually give you 2 insoles, which I have the second insole in these ones. From what I know, there's not too much of a comfort difference in them. I could be wrong about that, but just from what I've kind of noticed, just trying on this third pair I'm about to show you, because I kept the cork looking insole in. There's not too much of a difference. Then here's the third pair. I bought these first because these were actually the first ones that came out with the research and redevelopment series that they're doing right now. And I've only tried these on. I haven't actually worn them out, so it's kind of funny. Yeah, you know, second insoles, and then here they are. These are called the John Difel colorway, I believe. Which, yeah, no, solid colorway. Um, you know, I would really say this one is probably going to be the toughest one I try to wear. And, that's just for the simple fact of, just there being so many colors involved in it. But yeah, I'll probably break these out here soon. Who knows? I might break them out tomorrow since I got my fantasy draft party. It was funny though. When these were coming back out, I actually had to tell a homie of mine they're very hard to break in. My recommendation, if you ever decide to get a pair of Janowskis, you put them in the microwave for 30-minute, or excuse me, 30-second increments. Again, 30-second increments. You can probably do 45 and then do another 20, but it's really just to kind of heat the shoe up to kind of expand it. And then you put your foot in it and then just wear them out that day. Or you can like put a shoe tree in it or like stuff it with a sock just to kind of expand everything a little bit, because they're a very tough shoe to break in. Like I tell you, I wore the Gorge Greens when we were filming the previous Drinks and Kicks, and that was the first time I had worn them. Oh yeah, my feet were killing me. But when you love a shoe so much, you gonna make some sacrifices. But oh yeah, I love this shoe. Like all time top three favorite shoe of all time. Well, silhouette of all time, I should say. Next up, here's another most recent one. Black toe lows, as you can see, I have the sail rope laces. And these are actually solid, bro. Like this is actually my first Jordan 1 low. Uh I was very amazed with the comfort level of these, because Jordan 1s typically aren't that comfortable. For some odd reason, these are very comfortable. Like it is crazy how comfortable they actually are. But this is a shoe that I was not expecting to get these so easily, especially at the beginning of the year when they got announced. I guess it's just kind of showing the whole situation we're in with sneaker culture. It's just in a weird spot right now, and I'm not necessarily mad at it. Like I was voiced, it's actually good for us as sneakerheads that sneaker culture is in the spot that it's in, because it allows us to be able to get whatever we want, whether it's retail or at cheaper resale prices. So, at the end of the day, I'm not complaining. I actually kind of like that the hype has died down a little bit. Yeah. and which is why this last pair right here was so much easier to get. Yeah. And let me tell you, I've worn these a lot actually. Like this is probably my most worn shoe recently. The Fly Streetwear SB Dunk. And let me just say this, shout out to Pick and Roll Kicks out here in Sunny Slope, Arizona. The homies Ivan and his wife Leslie. Make sure to go give them a follow. Check out their store if you live out here, if you ever visit out here. So the story behind getting these was I had actually hit on the UNC to Chicago women's Jordan 1 low. And, I kind of knew I wasn't keeping them. So, he actually reached out to me because I said I wasn't keeping them on my story. And he said, when you get them, just bring them by. Yeah. Trade, we'll just give you cash for them, like whatever. Um, I had remembered that he actually had these in the store, and you know, it, I'm not sure what the hype is with these. If people like them, if people don't like them. I knew I liked them, so I had remembered that he had a pair of my size. So I kind of told myself if I was trading that shoe, it was either going to be towards these or they have a vintage Beatles shirt, which I posted a picture of in the shop series collage that I've been doing. Go check it out on my Instagram, or the Divergent Being Instagram, I should say. Um, it was either this or that shirt, and they had this, so yeah, I definitely was choosing this. But yeah, this is a dope shoe, man. Like the quality on this thing is nuts. And I've actually said this is probably my sneaker of the year. Um, Obviously, everybody's gonna have a different opinion, but just like the quality behind this thing, and I'm pretty sure like the camera can't really do it justice, just how clean this looks. Like, but yeah, this shoe is phenomenal. Let me say that again. Phenomenal. But yeah, those just been my latest pickups. Really, I'm kind of getting to a point now. I've almost been telling people I'm kind of semi-retired when it comes to sneakers, and it's not necessarily like I feel like I had too many or such thing because I want to say last time I counted, I probably only have like 50 pairs total. I mean, for me, really, it's just getting to a point now, like I'm getting satisfied. Like I'm content with what I have. I have things that I like, slash, have those, I guess, attention seeker sneakers. Your hype beast sneakers that people, man, they see you like, oh, dang, you got those, like, and I mean, me, I'm not really big on the whole, like, oh, yeah, I need the attention and all of that. I'm just buying stuff that I like, bro. Like, that's really all it is. But really, I'm just getting to a point, I'm pretty content. And, it's like, really, I want to start, more so invest my money in, whether it's the media stuff, whether it's my detailing business, you know, once this housing market eventually starts correcting itself, I'm trying to get a bigger house. I'm trying to get back into cars again, which I mean, that love will always be my first love. I mean, sneakers was a good holdover, but it's getting to a point like, yeah, I'm getting pretty content, bro. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I have said once I get a Sean Weatherspoon 97, And a Blue Lobster. I'll add that too. I think I'll be done. Who knows though? Who knows? Well, speaking of sneakers and all that, Meek Mill versus the Reseller. Let's talk about it. Let me start off by saying this. I, for one, think the Reseller was in the right. Let me just say that. Let me explain why. I don't care how you feel about sneaker reselling. It's a business at the end of the day. Let's just get that out the way now. It's a business. So, me being a businessman, I'm going to fully say, yeah, you make your money by any means necessary. I'm just going to leave it at that. If you don't like what I'm saying, it's understandable. It's understandable. I do not knock you, but just knowing how I am, how it is for me as a business owner, I gotta eat at the end of the day. That's how it works. So, if you don't know what happened, video floating around at a Got Soul event. Meek Mill at this Got Soul event stumbles across this reseller. He's selling a Nike SB Jordan 4. Uh, Dude tells him 500, I believe. And, he says, oh, I can get it at the store for like 330, which, yeah, you can. He's not lying. He could. He proceeds to tell him, I'm going to go ahead and give you the 500, but that's a bad deal. You could have let me get it for, I believe, 330, and, I could have got the Meek Mill commercial. I would have shouted you out, but I'm going to give you the 500, but that's a bad deal. I also said, I'm going to teach you how to hustle as well. First thing wrong with this, bro, learn how to haggle. Like, learn how to make a deal better. And this is speaking towards Meek Mill. Dude needs to learn how to make a better deal. Two, you didn't have to buy the shoe, bro. Like, you didn't have to do it. Three, bro, how are you gonna teach anybody how to hustle if you just hustled yourself? Like, you got finessed at the end of the day because you still paid dude's price and you made yourself look like an idiot. Let's just be honest here for a second. Like, bro, do I need to really say any more? Is it, in my eyes, the whole, like, interaction was just stupid to me because it's like, all right, I'll put it to you this way. Me owning a detailing business, I charge, minimum 900 to a grand for ceramic coatings. Well, we use Kendrick Lamar, for example, one of my favorite rappers. He could come to me and tell me, hey, I have this Ferrari. I'd love for you to do a ceramic coating on. But would you be interested in doing it for 500? And I shout you out. I'm declining that deal. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. Now the reason being, those take a lot of work. Two, you're not guaranteeing me that you're gonna shout me out. And three, bro, I know you got it, so don't try to play me, bro. That's just a bad business deal on my part. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Now, if you tell me, hey, 800 and I'll shout you out, and you out here, I get the car done, you pay me and you out here like, oh yeah, this detailer hooked it up, come check him out, he does great work. Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. I got my money at the end of the day. You shouted me out. I kept my end of the bargain, you kept your end of the bargain. I'm cool with that. Now you're asking why I use that example. Because Meek Mill goes to a different table. This reseller sells him dunks for $100. I can't recall the amount of dunks that he bought from him, but it's like, bro, don't get finessed by rich people. They got money, bro. We out here trying to scratch and claw, bro. So I'm just gonna leave that at that. Because I'm sorry, that was just the stupidest interaction I've ever seen in my life. So to keep it on the sneakers, so a little late. Ooh, dang, plane tickets going up. Uh, anyways, a little late. I did want to talk about this with Eddie, but obviously, life happens, and had to stick with the script. Recently, Greg had Trollmaggedon on the Sneakdiss podcast, which I tell you all the time, go check him out. So, for those that don't know Trollmaggedon, he predominantly does reps, I believe. He does still buy, what's considered authentic, real sneakers. He does still buy them. But I guess what he's mainly known for is reps. I didn't really find out about him until like roughly a year ago. Eddie was telling me about him because Eddie was suggesting we should have him on the Old Head and the Youngin. Um, so I'm just say full transparency here. Um, I don't dislike the guy at all. Actually, I don't mind what he does because at least he's being his authentic self at the end of the day. I can respect that. And then regarding that episode, so let me just say this about Greg. And I'm gonna fanboy a little bit, but Greg Robinson, uh the one of the two voices of the Sneakdiss sneaker podcast. I will always give that man his flowers. Let me just say that right now. I will always give that man his flowers till the day that I stop doing media myself, till the day that I die. I will always give that man his flowers because, A, every time that man gets on the mic, and I'll be the first to, I may not agree with everything he says, but he keeps it a buck every time he gets on that mic. I respect that. Same with George. I respect those two. They keep it a buck every time they get on that mic. I also respect the fact that he was willing to even have Trollmaggedon on the podcast because, I mean, yeah, it's gonna rub your fan base the wrong way having a guy that's known for buying rep sneakers on your sneaker podcast. It's might hurt your reputation a little bit, but that's what I respect so much about Greg. He does not care. because hey, he knows he has the best sneaker podcast in the world. He knows it. Now, yes, you have Complex and all that, but let's be real here. If they weren't backed by a multi-million-dollar company, like, would they really be much? Because I mean, I don't even watch them. I've only watched them probably like twice, and it's like, bro, they talk about the same stuff. I really only like Joe LaPuma. Like Brendan Dunn, I can't speak on too much because I mean I don't really pay too much attention to him. But other than that, I really like Joe LaPuma. Full size run is trash. I'm just gonna say that right now. Um, I've said repeatedly, I think their complex sneaker of the year panel was trash. Like it has not been good for like the past few years. Um, need I say more? But that episode with Greg and Trollmaggedon, I actually really enjoyed it. For one, I learned a lot about reps because you know luckily Trollmaggedon, he's been involved with reps for so long now. He was actually able to kind of clear some things up for me at least. Like, I'm speaking for myself only. He was able to clear some things up for me. Now, the end of the day, I get it. Some people might not like the guy. Some of y'all, oh no, real over reps, da 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 da. Oh, I would never wear reps, da 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 da. Like, bro, I'm a firm believer in I'm never gonna tell a grown man how to spend their money. Like, whatever you do, that's your business. I will say this: I don't like how some cats get reps and try to flex them as real. Like, if they're reps, just say it's reps, bro. Like, I'm not really gonna judge you. Like, heck, half the time you can't even really tell anymore. Like, they're getting so good now, it's hard to tell. Like, one of my boys has a red Dior one. I've only seen one Dior one in my life that was an authentic pair. So yeah, I can't really judge if a one is real or fake because I've only seen one. Uh, I had a rep Brett 11 that me and Eddie actually did a comparison video on my personal YouTube channel. Let me tell you, Eddie is very knowledgeable in sneakers in general, very knowledgeable in Jordan 11s. He had the toughest time trying to figure out what were the differences because it was that spot on. That's why we call them 98 percenters because they're getting so good now, you can't even tell anymore what's real and what's fake. Now, I will say this: if you do wear reps, I ain't gonna be sitting there like, oh yeah, those are fake. Oh, why you wearing fake shoes? I honestly don't care, bro. It's just when you start trying to pass them off as real, that's kind of what irks me because you're trying to fake it, bro. Like, I like just keep it a buck. Like that, like that is all I'm really asking. Like just keep it a buck, bro. And that's why I actually respect Trump again because at least he keeps it a buck. Like they're reps. So, you know, much love to that dude. I hope to have him on. Whether it's a podcast, one of the shows in the future. He's definitely welcome. So this is a topic I have been wanting to chat about with some people, but I figured why not just do it solo? This whole like discussion about is rap slash hip hop in a bad spot? Oh, is it dying? I'm getting very tired of it. Let me just say that. I think it was Yo Gotti. I saw a statement from. He said, rap slash hip hop hasn't been the same since COVID, the pandemic. And, I was just sitting there pondering on that statement. I'm like, that's kind of false to me. And keep in mind, I'm speaking for myself only. I can't speak for anybody else, but I feel like a lot of people think rap slash hip hop is in a bad spot is because they got so used to hearing the same thing. So when they hear something different, it's hard for them to kind of decide whether or not they like it. Now, I'm not saying that's everybody. I'm not saying that's like half of rap slash hip hop listeners. I'm saying just from what I've encountered from some people, that's kind of how it sounds. Now, there's a good point. I could be wrong, and I'll say, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you know, not everybody's supposed to sound like Drake. Not everybody's supposed to sound like Kendrick. Not everybody's supposed to sound like J. Cole. Like, you kind of see where I'm getting at. Like, there's so many different styles slash subgenres in rap slash hip hop that it's became so diverse. And if you really want to hear something different or something new, you gotta branch out. Like, hey, one album I've really been enjoying this year, Mick Jenkins just dropped his new album. And let me make sure I get the name right. His new album, The Patience. Phenomenal album. Like, I've probably listened to that album all the way through like 5 times now. The album is great. And, for those that don't know Mick Jenkins, he's highly regarded as, one of the best modern day conscious rappers. And, the album is just great. Like, honestly, if I could rate it, I give it a 9 out of 10. And I only say a 9 because I felt like it could use a couple more songs. That's really it. Other than that, uh, beats are great. Mix flow is wonderful. Every feature he had on the album killed it. And he got some crazy features. Freddie Gibbs, Benny the Butcher, JID, Vic Menza actually snapped. So that album has just been great. And another album that it came out last year, Ab Soul. I actually said I thought Ab Soul had the best album that came out in 2022. Now it came out super late in 2022, but to me that was the best album that year. Now a lot of people say differently, but that's just my opinion. A lot of people would also say too that Larry June has the best album this year, along with Killer Mike, which Michael, like Killer Mike, phenomenal album. Larry June, I just kind of gotten to a point. He's just not for me. I'm not saying the dude's trash or nothing. I think he's a little overhyped, just because I don't know where all these Larry June super fans just came from out of the blue. But yeah, his music is just not for me. I do recognize the talent and great artist. I can see that. It's just yeah, his music's just not for me. It's a little too relaxed for me, and I'm not a big fan of that all the time. But I'd definitely say Larry June's album, especially the one with I think it's the one with the Alchemist. Uh, Michael by Killer Mike and this Mick Jenkins albums. 3 great albums this year. Now, a lot of people are gonna say there's other ones too. I apologize. I'm still trying to catch up with some stuff I missed earlier this year. You know, happens sometimes. You miss a lot of things, especially when you're busy. So, I'm going back and trying to listen to stuff. But, you know, just kind of wanted to give my opinion on that statement because I'm getting a little tired of hearing it. Like, just because your favorite rapper has not dropped an album, that does not mean that there's not other stuff you cannot go listen to. That's all I'm saying. But I'm going to leave it at that. This is going to be a shorter episode. Like I said, solo Mac. I had to keep the show running. But, appreciate y'all for listening. And, on to the next one. And don't worry. The old head will be back next week. Till next time, though. Y'all take it easy. Peace.